Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to On Loose Lines, back for another week. And I will do one thing. My New Year's resolution is going to be to have an ad or something starting off so that I can get all my things uploaded and ready to go. But welcome to the show, random show. This can be about a lot of things. There's a fair bit going on in the world, but let's just try and be positive and get some positive stories out there if you like going forward. Sorry, I just got a few horses running around outside the window, but I think everything's okay by the looks. Yep, and I want to get some good stories out there. Got a couple of young men to come onto the show. So for a start, we'll have Wilson House from New Zealand, who recently drove 5 winners from 6 drives just the other day at Manawatu. And then we will also have Ryan Backhouse. So we've got a house double up, but we've also got two of them. But yeah, both young gentlemen also have just both have the last name of House, so I think that's pretty cool. But they both drove 5 winners. Ryan drove 5 at Mildura just the other night, so I think that is very, very cool to get. So plenty going on. I was recently over in New Zealand, and as everyone knows, I am sponsored by Woodland Stud, and you can see here, this is the Oaks field going around, the New Zealand Oaks. The other day was a huge meeting they had up there, and you see Mantra Blue just running off the track a little bit, the daughter of Seaside. The daughter of Sweet Lou getting up the inside was Artie by the Seaside, and got up and beat her. Horse was a weanling purchase from the Gavel House. It was one of the last of the online sales that they had. Seriously, what's going on here? The New Zealand website has just decided it doesn't want to be a part of what I was trying to get up. I'll just try and get it there. Sorry, it collapsed. But Artie by the Seaside, I think it was a $1,300 purchase for that sale. So it was a COVID sale, so there was no weanling sale, but just another success story from that sale there as well. And of course, down by the Seaside doing an awesome job. Go back and have a look at a horse called Pinterest that won at Geraldine the other day as well. I think he was a cheap purchase as well out of that same sale. And then of course Mantra Blue by Sweet Lou, and Kalua Fly by bringing up the trifecta for the Woodland Stud bred horses. There, of course, a daughter of Better's Delight, who keeps getting better and better year after year and does a terrific job. Should never have a window open when horses are running around. Tyler Dew, hello to you, my friend. Invercargill Cup's coming up next week. Could be a combined show, I reckon, the way we're going next week. I'm just going to be a day short for some things, so we might have a Over the Ditch on Loose Lines preview show with Johnny Turner and the Invercargill Cup, so we want people to be aware of that meeting as well. Plenty going on there. And just while I'm on the New Zealanders, here's a horse for the Aussies to follow. This horse called Beach Ball. Ricky May in the cart, trained by Benny Hill. He has really developed this year, and he's a horse on the up. He was terrific here, winning the Summer Cup. He went 54-4, 55-6 and 28-3, and Ricky's asking him here, but he ain't asking him that hard, and you can just see he runs powers right through the line here. He's by Some Beach Somewhere at a Twilight Rascal. Ken Chapman bred this horse, and up until just recently trained him, but Benny Hill has taken over the training now. He beat a quality field, self-assured. American Me went terrific as well, so both terrific horses and done a huge job. Artie was 1,500 and Mantra Blue was 2,300. And Pinterest was also bought out of that same sale, Emily, just to give you a little bit of a challenge while you're going. So yeah, so it was a Gavel House sale, but it was a weanling sale of all the Gavel House horses. So I think it's a really good result. They can come from anywhere. Just hopefully my man gets this message, Wilson, because he is a house, and they can be tricky to get hold of, I reckon, sometimes. So I just got to make sure he's read it. Once I know that he has actually read it, I'll get him. I reckon I'm just going to ring him. It says he was active 15 minutes ago. We'll just see how we go. Oh, it's not plugged in. Oh, talk about well run. I'm well, mate, and you're there. I can hear you now. You can hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Very, very good. I wasn't sure if you you could hear me or not there as well. But firstly, welcome to the show, my friend.
Cheers, Paul. Thanks for having me.
No, it's always a pleasure, and it's good that you're the first. Well, you're not actually the first of the houses, but you're the first of the houses that I've organised. If that makes sense, it's a lot safer.
The other one, you don't get much choice, do you, Paul?
No, I took him on, and there was a few people not that they were a bit nervous. But no, firstly, mate, welcome, and in all seriousness too, well done to Dad as well. I think what you guys do for the industry is terrific. You can provide a lot of horses, but Dad also provides a lot of fun, and a lot of people get involved in that as well. So I think that's terrific, mate. So I do appreciate that.
No, thank you, Paul. No, it means a lot for not only Dad and I, but the team behind us. Without them, we couldn't do it.
No, absolutely. Just Pinseeker was a $4,200 purchase. So if you had $10,000 a couple of years ago, Wilson, you could have bought some nice horses, Artie by the Seaside, Mantra Blue and Pinseeker, and you would have got change out of 10 grand. That would have been a nice result, wouldn't it?
Well, it would, wouldn't it?
Would indeed. Would indeed. Right, mate, for starters, we're going to congratulate you. Yesterday, you had 6 drives, 5 wins for Dad. All for Dad, I think they were, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. I had 6 drives, all for Dad, yeah.
Yep, and they got the chockies. It is your best day. I don't have to ask you if it's your best day. Did you expect it to be your best day?
Look, I went into it thinking, I challenged myself. I said I'd like to drive 2 winners. I'd like 2 nice wins, is what I said to myself. And I was after the first 2, I was pretty ecstatic. I said, well, from now on, the rest of it's just fun, isn't it? And well, that was my challenge. That was what I said to myself. And yeah, I wasn't shocked by it. Each performance, they all performed as well as they could. They were all well going into it, and it was down to them being there on the day, and they were. So, yeah.
I never know exactly how your notifications, if you like, if you're betting where it is there. I don't know what 1/3. Does that mean you're the first favourite or the third favourite with Anna of 1,000 Bays?
Dad, I actually don't know what she was paying in the end, but that was Dad's tip for the day. He came off the track with her last run and said, I've given this horse gate speed, and then about 4 hours later the fields came out and I drew and won the second line. I said that gate speed's not going to help right about now. That could cause some issues. But he tipped it out to quite a few of his mates who are regular punters, and said this horse will win both days, sort of thing. So hopefully she backs up well the second day and she'll be thereabouts. She's drawn 2, so we'll see what happens.
We'll get onto that in a second. I was about to say, oh, okay, so that's how it works. Rightio, so you're the first favourite to win. That's interesting. You're the first favourite to win and the third favourite to place. That seems odd,
right.
That seems odd the way that works.
It does, yeah.
But now that explains a lot to me. So, yeah, so...
They're saying, what I think they've said is, if she does go any good, she'll win, but if she doesn't, she won't keep up.
Won't keep up? That's about right. Because by this, Carolina Moon was the third favourite, but it was the first favourite.
Yeah.
So it was guaranteed a running a place, and it only ran 5th, unfortunately, for the for the connections. But that's okay. Just on this horse, before we go too far, Caravan Club Syndicate, what's the go there?
I couldn't tell you. No idea.
Okay.
No idea. That's out of my pay bracket.
It's not one of Dad's?
No, I've got no idea. I could not tell you.
Anyone wondering to know what Dad's Syndicate is? It is the Mentally Stable Limited.
Limited.
Yep. That is the Michael House Syndicate. So I'm sure there's an missing there somewhere, but anyway, we won't worry about that too often. Mate, it was only it must have been just over a fortnight ago. Was it 3 weeks ago that you drove your first treble at Manawatu? And I think you're pretty ecstatic about that. Yeah,
I was. Look, it was a great opportunity that night, and we backed up well the second night to do it again. So with different horses, but same result. Yeah. Yeah,
but there's a bit of commitment for that because you went to Rangiora from memory. I haven't got the results in front of me, but you went to Rangiora in the middle day. Was it Tuesday, Thursday again? Is that right? I should.
Yeah, so it was Tuesday, Thursday, and I went back to Rangiora Wednesday. Yeah, there was one drive down there. She's a lovely horse. She was in the Trotting Oaks.
Yep.
And she actually ended up getting disqualified out there, but she won that maiden race on the Wednesday. Yeah.
Yep. And Dad also went back with you. Well, I don't even know if he went up to Manawatu the first time, but he actually got a winner in the in the amateur drivers race, and then you fronted back up the next day, so you'd never had a treble. You front up the next day,
Yeah.
you went and got another
Yeah,
treble.
so Dad won the first race in the amateur, and then I won the second in the maiden trot, and we both flew up on the Thursday for the races up here at Palmerston North, and had the team run, and Dad drove the truck home through the night. We were home by Friday, 11 o'clock in the morning. It's a 14-hour journey home. We were on the 2 o'clock ferry, leaving Wellington, heading into Picton, which is north of the South Island, yeah.
How long does the ferry take?
The ferry crossing's roughly 3.5, 4 hours, but you got to be there an hour before and all of that for a check-in and everything. So it adds to your journey. You spend more time before and after the ferry just about than actually driving on the road.
But
it has its effect, yeah.
That'd be good for Dad in a way, because at least you'd be able to get a sleep in and not drive.
Yeah, you get a cabin and decent feed. It breaks the trip up really well, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good commitment, and keeping the numbers going up there. The numbers seem okay for Manawatu.
Yeah, no, they're doing a fantastic job. They've got brilliant stakes up here. They're making other North Island clubs look silly, and I don't mean that nicely, but they're doing a fantastic job, really, and it's only with average horses, and they've got these great stakes. It's amazing there aren't more horses travelling here.
Yeah, no, well, it is indeed, and we'll get on to tomorrow. A couple of people are asking. Jeffrey Dixon's wondering about some tips, because I think Dad gave some tips of some thoroughbreds. Actually, he's had a thoroughbred winner too while I was there for Cup Week. Did he not, or was it last week?
No, he got beat. He ran second on Cup Week with one, which went sensational. Ran second to a horse that won all 3 days.
Yeah, to beat Ken Barron's horse, or Tony Barron. One of the Barons was in it.
No, it was Ken's in on that one. Yep. Lord Donovan, won all 3 days. But another one, Miss Sailor, she's from actually the Manawatu region, and she got given to us to train in Canterbury. Just needed a drop in class, and she's done a great job, really. She's been really unlucky her first couple of runs, and she showed her ability on, I think it was Friday, on the synthetic at Riccarton.
Yep, yeah, I did see that. I watched it. I can tell you exactly where it was. I was with Graham Dwyer and Brent White. We watched it on the telly. I said, you had to explain the colours, the Michael House far lap colours, and I know Graham Dwyer was like, well, how do you get far laps colours? And I'm like, well, because he's an Australian, not a Kiwi. Because he's an Australian, not a Kiwi. Yeah, but it's one of those things. He's a great Kiwi horse that I take the mickey out of everyone. I know he's a Kiwi horse and all the rest, but I do know it's an easy way to go fishing. But it's one of those ones. And Graham was a bit flabbergasted that he could have those colours, but at the same time, I think he was pretty impressed, and he got the chockies. Just a little bit about yourself, mate. You've only been driving for a few years. What's this, your 3rd year? And really only, by the looks of it, 2 years having a red-hot crack. Yeah,
no, it's only my 2nd season. That first one was just the changeover of our season when we changed to January. I think I got 2.5 months. So I'm on my 2nd season now.
And 43 wins, that's a huge effort in New Zealand, because it's not like Australia. I'm going to interview Ryan Backhouse in a minute, and I think he had 12 drives last night at Mildura. He drove 5 winners himself. I'm not going to knock him for that, but he had 12 drives himself. That's a 3-day event for you guys to get 12 drives.
Yeah, it is just about. It is different over here, but look, I'm a credit to the stable behind me, Dad's team and himself, put me on, take care of me, and getting the horses right. That's what's winning the races. I'm just lucky to be on the horses. And do you love driving, Wilson? Is it a love of yours? Yeah, I love it. I was wanting to go to uni when I left high school, but I started driving just before I finished high school, just through the last couple of months of high school and going into our exams and that. And I realised I was enjoying what I was doing, and I thought, well, you got to enjoy what you do. It doesn't feel like work if you're enjoying it. So I stuck with it, and I'm happy I did at the moment. I've got some great mates in it, and it's what it's all about. And goals, mate? Do you have some goals? Well, I said to myself about a month ago, I'd like to drive 35 for the season. I'm getting pretty close now, so hopefully I can do that. You only need 2. I just had I was having a bit of trouble trying to find where it was, but you're at 33. So 33 is it? Yeah. Yeah. So you just, if you can get a double tomorrow, that'd be a nice little fillet. That'd be fantastic, wouldn't it? Not putting any pressure. But do you want to? No pressure. Do you have long-term goals? Like, of course, there's a pretty famous Kiwi that does pretty good in the USA driving at the minute, and everyone knows Dexter. So especially if you're in harness racing, do you want to travel? Would you like to come to Australia and drive, or is it
just take it as it comes?
At the moment, I'm just taking it as it comes and enjoying what I can.
Yep, and keep going the way it's going.
Yeah, just doing my best where I can.
Yeah, no, well, that's a good result. What about tomorrow? I'm going to throw you under the bus, mate. Have you got a winner for the boys tomorrow at all? How many drives have you got?
I think I've got a full book. I've got all 8 races. I've got 3 outside drives, so it'll be 5 for the old man. And look, there's a horse that missed the first day, Bodine Quickstep. I really like his chances. He's got a wee bit of gate speed. Hopefully we can cross down, but we'll just see what happens. And my other best one, I thought Anne of 1,000 Bays won really well the first day, and I've got a soft spot for her. She gave me a great feel. So yeah, Anne of 1,000 Bays is probably my best bet of the day. I think she's drawn 2.
That's in for the Aussies. That's at 5:10, race number 5. That is at Manawatu tomorrow. So hopefully you can get to see them. Sometimes they don't put these meetings on so for us to see, but you can still be able to get your bets on. That's for sure. So good to get some outside drives too, Wilson. You drove all Dad's last meeting, but as you said, there's 8 races this time. You're in every race, and 3 of those are outside drives. So that must be good for you that you're doing things the right way.
Yeah, no, I'm lucky. There's some really, really lovely people who are local trainers here, and Stephen Doody, I think I've got 2 drives for him tomorrow. He's a top man, and he does a fantastic job with his horses. And also Tracy Caldwell, who's from a few hours north of here, but there's a horse here staying at the track at the moment. Yeah.
Are you up there at the minute? Of course you are. Yeah, you wouldn't have been.
Yeah, I am at the minute. Yeah, I'm here with the horses.
Yep, very, very good. I don't know a lot about Stephen Doody. He seems to have quite a few horses. And the other gentleman who did reach a milestone the other day, Mike Berger, I gather he's from there. I see his name pop up. He's got familiar colours.
Mike's a top man. He's just trained a 700 winner last week, I think it was. He's from Cambridge, which is about 5.5 hours north of here. So
he supports the area very well as well.
Yeah, he comes down often. He's a top man, yeah.
Anna Donnelly, they're all there. There's no easy ones, but the Butcher boys are there, so you've got plenty to worry about. So
a lot of competition. They
keep you on the straight and narrow too, mate.
They keep you honest, yeah. Great drivers, yeah.
Yeah. All right, mate. Thank you. Thanks for joining me. Good luck tomorrow. You didn't have a lot of joy over Grand Prix Day, but it's good to have a couple of runners. You got checked in one.
No, it's good to be there.
Yeah,
it's good to be there.
The filly in the Oaks was okay. Drop back to her class.
Yeah, no, I was actually really happy with her. She never lost any ground on the horses around her. The better ones kicked clear of the field, and the rest of us just battled it out for 4th and 5th sort of thing. And I was right there. I came off the track really happy with her. Yep. She's not as good as them, so she's tried her heart out. The 2-year-old was really disappointing, but that's just how it goes.
Yep, you might have to. You're gonna have to get Dad to sort of pick up the game and tell him I want a couple of those horses you used to travel around with, and just get you some horses on the metro tracks now.
That's the one.
No, Wilson, thank you. Well done for everything you're doing, mate. It's an awesome achievement. You're knocking up winners all the time. I think it's terrific. Just hang on one sec. Pretty sure you met Mike at Cambridge on the night of the champions. He won the Country Cups race that night. She's holding me to task. And Stuart Tanner says hello from a dark and wet London. What's the weather like in New Zealand? It was terrible, wasn't it, when I left, the Monday that I left?
The last few days it's been horrific. Christchurch has copped it. Wellington's copped it. Palmerston North just avoided it, thankfully, for the last race on Tuesday, but they've copped it down south of here, yeah.
Yeah. Every time I go, there's sunshine, and everyone tells me how bad the weather is, and I don't see it. So it's not a bad result for me. So yeah, mate. Good luck tomorrow, and good luck with the rest of the driving. We'll catch up. Yeah, tell Dad to answer his phone, and we will get that Sundon thing done. That'd be handy too one day. But he'll be fine.
Thank you very much, Paul.
No, thanks, Wilson. We have Wilson House there joining me on Messenger. Done a great job. As I said, he drove. Emily, how long ago was the previous? We'll go back here to the results. Go that way. Thunder and lightning yesterday. I saw the hailstorms as well. I believe. I think it was Monday or just after Monday. So it must have just been at the end of November, I think. Just trying to get a date here. Oh, it was a little bit further ago than that. So it was the 22nd and 23rd which is only 3 weeks ago. So yeah, he drove 3 winners at both of those meetings. He also had a winner at Rangiora in the middle of that. Went back, as he said, he and Dad both went back. Before Cup Week, I reckon. No. After Cup Week. It was the week after Cup Week, Emily, but yeah, I found it anyway, about the 23rd and 24th. So yeah, so he drove 3 winners there. One at Rangiora, went back and drove another 3, and then he's come up with 6 the other day. So bet on red. You never tipped. He must have tuned in. I haven't seen Michael House, but by the looks of it, he must have tuned into the comment section there somewhere. But yeah, that's what he always says is bet on the red. Anyway, but I think it's great to see young Wilson getting plenty of winners and doing a good job. So I really do appreciate him joining me. I am going to get Ryan Backhouse now, hopefully, on the phone. I'm just going to make sure I ring the right person. I have a bad habit of this. I didn't save his phone number. And I reckon that'll be it. So let's just see if we can get Ryan on the phone.
Hello.
Hello, Ryan.
How are you?
Yeah, very, very well, mate. Paul Campbell. We spoke a little bit earlier, and good to have you. Thank you for joining me on Campbell's Comments and on Loose Lines, mate.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me.
Firstly, congratulations, mate. It's funny. I've got two junior drivers, and you both drove 5 winners for the first time on this. Well, 1 day apart, but just a terrific effort.
Yeah, well, I never thought I would be able to do it, but I just kept sticking at it and finally got it.
You haven't been going that long. You don't have to worry too much about that. You've outweighed a few people. A little bit before we get on to last night and where it was. You've been driving for 3 seasons, yet it says you're 18. You can only drive once you're 16. So you must be about due to have a birthday, are you?
No, October was my birthday.
Okay.
So just gone. I just turned 18.
16, 17. Just turned. Okay, so yep. All right. So you're in your 3rd season. That's like I was looking at that and I was like, well, 4 winners your first season, 12 last season, and now this season 40 winners. Just a little bit like about you, Ryan. Where are you actually from?
I'm from Tasmania, down in Hobart in Tasmania.
Yep.
Yeah.
How long you been over here on the mainland?
On the 28th of December, it'll be a year. I would have been in Victoria.
And what brought the move about?
It was more when I come over for the Inter-Dominion. I was talking to one of Aaron's workers, and they said, he needs a worker, and I was like, I was just mucking around. I think I might have had a few beers by then, and said, yeah, we'll just let him know I might come over. And yeah, he rang me that Tuesday when we got back, and he said, did you want a job? I was like, yeah, I might as well try it while I'm young anyway. So, and then pretty much went from there.
Right, Aaron Code?
Aaron Dunn.
Oh, yep. Okay, yep. Very good. So, and is that who you work for now?
Yeah, still work for Aaron, yep.
Yep, very, very good. Well, it's a fair trip, because, so anyone not aware, Ryan, that means Ryan lives in Horsham, so she's a fair trip to Mildura. What's about 3 and a bit hours? It's a bit closer than...
Three and a half.
Yeah, so it's a solid trip, but it's proving to be very fruitful for you.
Yeah, it's been well, the first couple I only got to just get to know up there, but the last I don't know 3 months has been pretty good for me, with drive wise and stuff like that. So it's been pretty handy.
Yep. So how you had a full book? I think. Did you have a full book last night? I reckon you went pretty close to it. If you didn't.
10. I missed 2.
Yeah. So, people can turn around and say, oh, you had a good book. I actually had them up here. You had 2 odds on pops. Where did I find it? Just here. So, so you had Jackson Beach, which was that thing's done it again. I have a trouble with one connection. But Jackson Beach was $1.55, and on Blinging It was $1.20. But then the rest of them were big odds. Do you remember the first couple of times when you started to get on a few horses that had a bit of a chance, mate?
Yeah, well, it was different to what I used to be driving. Like, I think my first drive was over in Victoria was Aaron Dunn's good pacer, I think. So from what I used to be driving to that first drive, it was very different.
And then you got on them here. And did you? What are your ambitions? Are your ambitions to become a driver or a worker or a bit of both?
Yeah, well, like I said, I've come over while I was young, like to see if I can make it as a driver, and if that's not the case, then I'll obviously I can always go back to Tassie if I have to, or just look for other work if I. But yeah, hopefully become a driver.
And the support from Mildura means a lot for young drivers, doesn't it? They seem to once you commit to coming, they're prepared to continue to put you on.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's pretty much. They're pretty loyal up that way, sort of thing.
Yeah, they're very good. It must be good for you to go there and get a good book of drives.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Naomi has been pretty good to me lately. She's been giving me all her drives, which is making it worthwhile to go up. So it's been good.
No, we'll get on to Naomi in a minute. What were your confidence level? Did you think you could get a few wins last night?
I thought I could get two, like those two odds on pops, but I didn't think the rest.
Yep. So
I thought maybe Artistic but Naughty was a good chance because it wasn't a very good field, but I didn't think I'd get 5. No.
No, I think you drove. Did you drive? Yeah, 2 out of the first 3, and neither of those were really a chance. So you still had those other ones to come. So you must have been a little bit confident at that stage that you were going to have a pretty good night.
Yeah, well, when I got the first 2 of the 3, I thought, I'm going to have a good night. But after I'm blinging, I thought I was going to finish on 4 because I didn't think the last one was going to win, but it proved me wrong.
And you had to hang around to the last. Do you stay up there for the night, or do you go home, mate?
Yeah, I stayed up the night and then come home this morning.
I think Aaron got a winner today, didn't he, at Melton? I think so.
Yeah, his little pacer Komodo got a winner.
So he'll be happy with that. Are you getting many drives outside of Mildura?
I'm getting not many, getting the odd occasion one like off Ken Taylor and stuff like that. But other than that, like pretty much mainly Mildura.
And do you find that part tricky? Like when you're not, you don't have your family and that around you. Does it get a bit tiresome?
A little bit, yeah. It's not too bad. Just a little bit it does, but yeah, it hasn't been too bad so far.
Yeah, good. And you're gonna stay here, I hope. You'll be going home for Christmas, I imagine. But you come back.
Yeah, going home for 12 days, just around Christmas time, and then I'll be back. Yeah.
Yep. What's your family background in the industry, mate?
Well, Dad and Mum and Pop and all that used to have horses. And then also my cousins have got horses over in Tassie, 80 and Ricky Duggan and Jacob Duggan and Josh as well. He's over here. So yep. I sort of just when I think I might have been about 12, I sort of met Jacob Duggan, who's now a driver over in Tassie going okay. And I met him at school and apparently we were cousins and it pretty much just went from there. I went around to his place and just helped him. From about age 12, I sort of thought, horses is what I wanted to do.
You got to be careful saying those things about Tasmanians because everyone will say you're all related.
Yeah, I know.
So once you found out you're related and you went around there, they introduced you to the horses?
Pretty much, yep. Then pretty much I got my trial license and then I moved to I moved stables and went to a different stable just to try something different.
Yep.
And then I got a few race drives there, and then I decided to come over here while I was fairly young and try it out.
I got one little bite. Emily Morgan from New Zealand, mate. She gets me across to New Zealand, gets me to do a lot of stuff over there as well. She is actually a Tasmanian, so you just got to be so careful, but that's okay. Might have just got a little bite, so she thought I might have kept going, but I definitely wasn't going to keep going with it. Josh Duggan, do you come across Joshy a bit?
Yeah, I see Josh when I go to the races, like down South Way or Melton Way, down the Melbourne part away, but yeah, when I see him, I'll say good day to him.
Yep, he's a good man, Josh. He drives plenty of winners for us, that's for sure.
Yep, yeah, he definitely good fella.
Yeah, no, he is indeed. Do you miss your family, or are you enjoying Victoria?
No, I'm enjoying it at the moment. It has been pretty good. Like Aaron and his missus have been pretty good to me, which has helped out. So, yeah,
Right,
been good.
What are your goals then, mate?
Well, it's mainly like to just become as successful as a driver, sort of thing. Just like over here and see if I can make it. That's pretty much my goal, just to become a successful driver.
I read in the HRV put out a release today, and they've got. I actually should have looked it up properly. The last New Year's Eve meeting, which with all the junior drivers are going to be there, and where is it? Must be that button there. I haven't got it in front of me, but basically you've made the top 10, so that part's got to be an advantage for you, mate.
Yeah, no, it's when I got the phone call today saying that it's not certain yet, but it's pretty much a certain sort of thing. I was a pretty big thrill, so.
The Young Gun series is what they call it, the New Year's Eve Young Gun
series. Yeah.
And basically the top 8 junior drivers, top 8 under 25-year-old drivers will be automatic entry, and then there'll be 2 wild cards to be picked by HRV. So that's got to be pretty exciting for you, mate. You're going to get a good book of drives, and at Melton as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I can't wait for it. It should be a lot of fun to get out there with. I get along with most of the junior drivers pretty well, so yeah, it should be nice and fun and be a good night.
Do you know the others, like roughly who the others are? I was actually thinking when I saw that, I thought, well, maybe.
Well, it's the top 8 in the premiership, so it's like James Herbertson, Jack Law, and Declan Murphy, Geordie Leadham, and all sort of stuff like that. And then there's 2 picked out on like appearance and all that sort of stuff, and how you presented at the races and stuff like that, I think.
Yep. Well, that is actually very key. We want to make sure of that as well. But that's going to be a good thrill. I reckon they need to put a leaderboard up so people know who's where and all the rest, because you've jumped up that leaderboard very, very quickly, which a lot of people wouldn't be expecting. So yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, after yesterday, I think I might have jumped to 7th. I think, which was yeah, I didn't think I'd be in the top 10 start of the year but things happen.
Reading's not my strong point. I'm trying to speed read as well. I did see that. I saw where you jumped up very, very quickly. So yeah, so it'd be cool just to have a little bit of a running thing, and maybe that's something HRV can do. I think you've still got a couple more weeks before the cut-off is. So,
I think the cut-off's on the 15th of December, I think it was. So in 2 days, I think.
2 days. All right, we better keep a good eye on that. Jamie Gameson from New Zealand is on there. Hello to you, Jamie. You're doing an awesome job. The ranks in junior drivers coming through is very promising, very pleasant young people too. That's a compliment, mate, from Nellie Melbo, who's a passionate harness person. She tunes into me all the time, so I worry about her social life, but that's okay. We don't worry about that.
Yeah.
And then the Mayor of Horsham has chimed in as well and said that Dunny's babysitter is also part of the job description. Were you aware of that when you took the job up?
No, I wasn't, and until his son, he's pretty much I'm like another brother to him, I think. Yeah, which I think he enjoys it having me here. So,
well, that's got to be a good thing.
It wasn't in the when I first got the phone call. There was no you might have to babysit.
Dunny can be a bit. I suppose easygoing. He probably didn't tell you everything you needed to know.
No, he didn't. No, he's very easygoing. Like he's hard work, but yeah, he's fair.
No, that is good, and they'd be a good group of people in Horsham. I take the mickey out of Justin and the crew there, but I mean Justin, they're a very, very passionate harness community, if you like, in Horsham. They love their track, and they're always thinking outside the square there to get more and more people there as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they do a bit behind the scenes, all them in the community or in the committee up here for the harness. So yeah, it's good.
Right, I'm going to throw you under the bus a little bit. Thank you very much. I must be marginally better than knitting, I think, is what Nellie's saying, which is probably fair, I reckon, too, but that's okay. Naomi, I don't know a lot about Naomi, but she's only been training for 2 years. She's had 54 winners herself. Do you know a lot about Naomi Ryan and her background?
Oh, I don't know much about her background. Like, I only know her from up in Mildura when I've been going, and I sort of pretty much when they put me on, sort of got to know her a bit better. But yeah, I don't really know much about the background.
She does a good job. Her winning strike rate's 26% and 50%. Other way around, 10%. And placings is at 20%. And she's won 190,000 this season. So she's doing a good job because I imagine she only trains around that Mildura area.
Yeah, she's only got a little 790 metre track, I think, and she has been, like, her horses are pretty always around the mark sort of thing. So yeah, she's doing a pretty good job with them, and she's got some nice horses now. Like, I'm Jackson Beach and I'm Blinging It. They're both nice horses. So I think she'll be getting a couple more winners, hopefully. Hopefully
soon, and that'll be for you. Have you got any more drives engaged this week?
None this week. Only next Monday. At Mildura next Monday.
Yep, very, very good. What was your first impressions when you went to when you got to Mildura?
I thought, well, it was a little bit different, but I'm sort of used to that track because I used to drive at Burnie, which is in Tasmania up the top, but I guess Burnie's probably a little bit more different because they're all standing starts up there, but
Burnie's only 600 metres around, isn't it? It's tight.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's different. It's a lot. It's smaller track, and they're all standing starts, but
yeah. I actually just saw their King Island started back up too. Have you ever been across the King Island and had a drive?
No, I don't think I want to either.
It's a beautiful place, beautiful part of the world.
It's a beautiful place, but I don't know about the track.
You'll be fine. It'll be no worries at all. When you go back for your holiday, you're taking your driving gear, or are you just going to leave it all?
No, just going back for a holiday. Going on the 1st of January to the 12th, just going over and going away with Mum and Dad and all the family for 7 days, and going down to Port Arthur down there. So
no, good on you. That sounds good. All right, mate, thank you very much for joining me. Well done. Good luck if I don't talk to you beforehand in the New Year's Eve Young Guns series, and good luck, but continue going what you're doing. But well done on driving 5, mate. You're doing an awesome job.
No worries. Thank you.
No, good as gold. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Ryan Backhouse there, so thank you very much to him. A couple of young blokes that are doing an awesome job on the in the driving. My brother sent me a random text message. I might have mentioned someone's name and he popped it up, but I don't know, or it may not have. He might have just sent me that name for some random reason as well. Rightio. But it is good to see the young blokes having a crack and going very well with their drives as well. Oh yeah, I do have that there. So yeah, in the industry, 2 young guys, both with houses in their name, and yeah, going terrific. So keep an eye on them both. One in New Zealand, and one of them over here in Australia, in Ryan Backhouse, who's a Tasmanian. So going from there, Jack Butler's on. I'm actually going to get Darren Clayton on the phone, and we are going to talk about the Inter-Dominion. I will say well done to you, Jack. Diane Riley's on there as well. Wayne Parsons. Hello to you guys. Better turn that up so you guys can hear it. Hopefully he answers the phone. He does answer the phone. Darren, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good. How are you?
Very well, thank you. We've got Jack Butler, Diane Riley. We've got a few of the Queenslanders. They must be inside. Is the weather still a little bit uncomfortable?
Oh, depends what you describe as uncomfortable, Paul.
I was hearing that it's a little bit humid. Is that right?
Oh, yeah, it's not too bad. Certainly bearable at the moment.
Yeah. Everyone.
But yeah, no, it should be good. The forecast is all good for the next couple of days, I believe. So everything's looking in order.
People can complain about plenty of things, that's for sure, mate, can't they?
Well, yeah, it's just whether you choose to listen to what they're complaining about, I guess.
No, I don't know if you listened to the show earlier, though, mate. I've had 2 young blokes, both driven 5 winners. They've only been driving for 2 seasons each. It's Pretty cool, actually. It's pretty cool stats that young guys can get a crack like that in our game, isn't it?
Yeah, sure is. And while I wasn't sort of on air listening to you before, it certainly is a great opportunity that that can get thrown up in the game. That people, they might not get their opportunities as regularly, but when they do come up, they get the opportunity to really take it by both hands and show what they can do.
And I think you've got to congratulate both, because I think Wilson House said there it's a 14-hour drive, albeit they're not driving for 14 hours, because by the sounds of it, there's about 6 hours on a ferry waiting to get across, or 5 hours getting across there. So, but they make it the commitment to get to Manawatu, and Ryan Backhouse is driving 3.5 hours to get to Mildura. He's got a full book of drives, but it's still a long way to travel for these guys. So it's good that they are getting the results. A couple of young blokes.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the young guys I was having a chat to yesterday, Corey Johnson, who's competing in the Australasian Young Drivers Championship, he lives just outside Adelaide, but basically everywhere he goes to drive, he travels to. So he said it's not too bad in that he's probably smack bang in the centre, but there's no track basically just down the road. Every track he is going to, he's travelling to get there. So, he said he'll travel across to Mildura, which is a big trip, but it's about an hour to Globe for him. He's got Port Pirie, Victor Harbour, all those places, but, they're all a journey. Whereas I guess in Queensland, we don't have any other tracks north of the southeast corner anymore, which is disappointing on a grand scale. But the fact then that, any of the participants sort of here in the southeast corner, they've got 2 tracks racing out 6 days a week, and most of them are within 2 hours of that track. And, we're sort of blessed a little bit that way. But, these young guys trying to get the opportunity, they're travelling and they're out there and trying to make the most of it.
There's 2 sides to that. You are blessed with the travelling, but as from an industry point of view, to try and get new people involved in the game, you've got a little area where, 2 little areas where people, or 3 areas where people are able to go and watch it. Whereas there's the other argument, New Zealand, it's the length and breadth of the island, basically everywhere they race, from beach racing to grass track racing. So there's sort of both sides of it, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely, and that's where I say, it is disappointing that we are now down only into the southeast, and more to that point that you raised there too. Not only that, because the 3 tracks are so close to Brisbane, land prices then are so high. So attracting a new participant in who needs to, have a farm set up from scratch, we don't have any on-track, training facilities available. That's a huge barrier. So that's why Norwell and having it built with the on-track stabling is so important. And even to a certain degree, I think they really need to look at, putting in another training facility in another area that's not just a racetrack, working with one of the older sort of, whether it's a private property that's purchased, and this is wish list sort of stuff. But, if we really want to grow the sport and introduce new participants, well, then you've got to have the gateway open for them. You can't just have all these hurdles in place and barriers to getting new people in.
Yeah, couldn't agree more, and it is wish list, but I think it's a priority wish list. I tend to agree. One of the states that is flourishing, and they do keep it on the low a little bit. I'll get into trouble being a Victorian for saying it, but New South Wales, and I think they've got 100 boxes at Tamworth. They're having upwards of 50 coming into Bathurst. You might know a little bit more about how many. I think there's between 50 and 100 anyway going in at Bathurst as well. I know Wagga will be then on the radar. They've already got Menangle. They're being very strategic about where they place them and how they place them.
Yeah, and that's been a long-term sort of aim. It's probably taken them longer to get it up and going than they ideally would have liked, but at least, it's there. The Menangle Centre's up. The Bathurst Centre, I know, when I was back there in October, the frames and the outside of all the barns were up. So, another 2 months down the track, they might be pretty well close to being sorted, I guess. But there might have been. I'd say there would have easily been 100 when I sort of did a count. It looked like there was four runs of 25 in a line. So it's certainly something that's needed. And here in Queensland, we lost that when we lost the Parklands, the Gold Coast. That was, at that point, that was really the only one. There was a little bit of on-track stuff at Albion Park. That's now all gone. So, from a Victorian perspective, I guess you've got your Charltons and your Cranbournes and a few other those sort of training centres that certainly help. But, they're needed. If you have a look at the Gallops, there's very few trainers are on their own property.
Yep, exactly. And there's the other part of it too, a little bit of camaraderie. Sometimes it can be a lonely job what we do, and you're on your own training horses. And if you're at some of those centres, you've got other people that might be going as bad as you or going better, but you've got that mateship part of it. So that is something that does get lost, I think, a little bit as well with the mental struggles some of us have.
Yeah, definitely. And you look at that from a perspective of you've only got to see how much when they get on track. Plenty of people there have a good laugh and the camaraderie on track. Well, if you had that also in the training, the other thing that comes out of that is just learning. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you are. You can always learn something new. So, and wise man once told me, you'll learn something every day if you're prepared to listen.
That's very profound. I wasn't expecting that from you, Darren. I must admit, we got everyone. We've actually got Paul Backhouse and Ryan Backhouse are both watching it as well. Better Vet New Zealand are watching. We've got plenty of people watching. We're going to talk the Inter-Dominion. I have put the question. The ticker across the bottom is actually to ask who you think might win the Inter-Dominion and who everyone else's chances. How has it been, Darren? Before I'm not even going to ask you yours. You can sit pat on your tips for a minute. But how has that carnival been up there? I think from afar, and I watched it in New Zealand. I think it looks like it's been a good series, and it looks like it's been a very, very competitive series.
Yeah, it certainly has been very competitive on track. It's been really strong. But a few upsets along the way. In the most, if you look at it from a wagering perspective, which so often we have to. A lot of the favourites have been winning. That's probably a byproduct of probably the strength of the 36 horses in the paces and the way heat racing always ends up that the better ones get sort of kept separate till the end. Same with the trotters in how dominant Just Believe has been. So, that's that aside. Certainly every horse has been given an opportunity. There's probably only one or two horses that sort of didn't get a decent barrier across the three heats that really affected them. So every horse has had an opportunity, and pretty much by saying that, you look at the final, there's really the only horse that you could say has probably been a little bit unlucky that's missed the final, and it's actually the Emergency. Can't find a better man. Sectionally, he's been absolutely super through the series, just missed out, and there's probably nothing else that's missed a run. You could say, oh, geez, it's a bit of a hard luck story not to have made it. So from that regard, we've probably ended up with the best sort of 12 horses to do battle in the final. Same probably said for the trotters. I think no real hard luck stories there. Every horse that maybe a couple of the heats horses didn't quite get a chance to run on, but they've made the final. So crowd wise, first night was super. Second night, the Tuesday, I guess that's always the challenge. And when you look at some of the other states that they're in the last 2 years, that's the night that they've taken regionally. So. We sort of really don't have that opportunity. So the crowd wasn't as strong on the Tuesday night, but that said, it was still way up on what would be what you would consider your normal Saturday night. So pleasing in that respect. And then the last Saturday just gone, again, a good crowd, and it's shaping really good for the final.
Can I, a random one, sitting in a motel room in New Zealand, Well, actually, there's probably two sides to this, and I know you guys have done it for the final, or Racing Queensland done it for the final, but the timing is tricky because I think the last heat the other night was about 10 o'clock or something like that, which is midnight in New Zealand, so it gets a bit hard for participants, especially when they've got a Group 1 day on the next day and that. But that's possibly a little bit, I wouldn't have thought about that if I wasn't over there either, but to potentially grow it with our nearest neighbour, maybe we all have to think a bit time friendly, and they have to do the same thing in reverse. Like, there's no point them putting a feature race on at 1 o'clock because that's 11 o'clock, most people are still working. But watching the heats, I will say the last lot of heats were a little bit ho-hum, and a bit of that was because the horses, you sort of knew that you had to finish in the placings or in the top 5 to make it, and the right horses found the top pretty quickly, so there wasn't a lot of moves. I was wonder whether if you were to change it and put, and again, this is only my pie in the sky thing, the long distance race as your first night of heats and have your mile racing as your last night of heats, that throws up that uncertainty that you've only got to pass 2 horses to get there, because you're not to know how it would go. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but I did find the long distance heats a little bit monotonous when you're sitting there, sort of knowing the result once they've all fallen into place.
Yeah, and that's what it's certainly something that could be looked at for sure, and depending on where the series ends up on the next rotation. But if it were to come back to Albion Park, I know there is talk that Albion Park could possibly get one more into Dominion in if that was 2025, and if it changed to the winter. So plenty of scenario planning would be involved there. But I agree with how they came across that last. They did sort of I'm not sure really what the right word is, but the drivers did what they had to do. There was nothing
untoward, nothing really, untoward.
No, exactly. Yep. But the better horses found the front, and then those back in the pack knew that over the long trip, probably not much they can do. So I guess that the way you say put the long trip first. It'd be interesting without having prepared a horse for this sort of series, because Queensland did change it up in that they went to the mile first, then the middle, and then the long trip last. So previously, most other sort of states have gone the middle trip first, the sprint in the middle, and then the long trip last, and then in the week off into the long trip again. So there's nothing to say it couldn't be tried. As how that would go on the horses certainly throws up a little bit more uncertainty, like you say, especially when you look, say, a horse like Future Assured. So, I give him a pretty good chance of earning good money in the final, but he's got there off the back of his heat win round 1, which was the mile, which was his bread and butter. Yep. So, like you say, you change that up. He goes the 2 long trip, then the middle trip, and then he gets the sprint trip last. Well, then it sort of puts the impetus on those horses that are better at the sprint to really get maximum points on that last night and really shake that leaderboard up.
And it's almost like if you're over the long and you draw wide, you can go back when the speed washes out of it. You can work around and put yourself into a position. And then if you're good enough to make it, you're good enough to make it. If it's over that short trip and you draw wide, it's sort of nearly all or nothing. And then, like if you've got a better Eclipse, a Leap to Fame, one of those underneath you're not going to, you're sort of like, well, if I go back, I'm no chance. So let's have a crack and just see what happens. And it just, I don't know. It was just, as I said, I'm not part of the whole, I haven't been part of it, but I've watched majority of the heats. I didn't watch the last lot of heats. I did fall asleep, but I was able to watch most of them, and I watched them all on replay. But it was just one of those things I watched. I thought these are just a little bit monotonous, and again, from an industry point of view of selling this as an exciting thing, I wonder whether it opens up more moves. I don't know if it does, it's just an idea that I've had there. Couple of comments. One of us has said something that Jack Butler's agreed with because he said, "Well said, mate," but I don't know if that's you or me. I'll put it down. I reckon I'll put that down to you.
No, you can have that. You can have that one, Paul.
Stephen Salter, or Pogger, as he's more commonly known, is Dasher moving into a modelling career next? That's a ripping profile. That's a ripping profile picture. Well, Brad Steele can lay claim to that one, Pog. He was the one that actually gave it to me, so I'm more than happy with that. And they need to run the Inter-Dominion out of daylight saving time. I think that's a bit hard, Jeffrey, because they seem to push daylight saving time back a week every frigging year, so you wouldn't know when they're going to run it. But it is a trick, because in Queensland you guys don't have daylight savings time. In Victoria and New South Wales there is, and then South Australia's half an hour behind, and then you throw New Zealand that are 2 hours ahead. So it is a trick. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm putting it out there as something that I did notice.
Yeah, well, don't worry about being out of daylight saving. I think we just need to have daylight saving. I guess one of the biggest problems with that is they've tried a few times and it hasn't got through. The state's so big, when you go right up north, that difference in where the sun is. So I don't know whether it's good or not for those horse trainers, because 4 a.m. it's light here in summertime. So that's a hard slog, I know. So.
Yep.
But, whether that's good because you're up and about earlier and you've got more sun, I don't know. But, it's certainly something I need to look at. We shouldn't be asleep this week for the final, because the final will be nice and early for you, Paul. It's early for us. It's at 6:30.
Mate, I'm gonna be there, so don't worry about that. I'll be there. So I'm not in New Zealand this time, smarty pants.
Well, I just need to check. You're always out and about. And that'll be 4:22. So don't turn up 4:22 Victorian time, or you'll be there early.
Rightio. So before we confuse too many people, 4:22 is the first race, which is 5:22 New South Wales and Victorian time, correct?
Yeah, so it'll be 4:22 Queensland time,
yep.
5:22 Victoria, New South Wales, Tasmania, and I don't know about the rest. There's too many. How can we in one country have so many different time zones?
For my New Zealand friends, the first race will be at 7:22, so we've got to add 2 hours on for the New Zealand friends to be aware of it. I'm just trying to find the first one. The pacing grand final will be 6:30, so that's 8:30. And trust me, that was very, very well received by the Kiwis over there. A lot of people did speak highly of that. So sometimes those things are terrific. Yep, Emily's onto that as well. So you got to be careful with Emily, Darren. She's a Tasmanian Kiwi, so she's got a bit going on there. You never know. So.
Yeah, well, there is. Well, if I could just throw a little barb out to the Kiwis, then why do they need to worry about the time? They didn't send any horses for it.
Oh. You do realise that there was half the field were made up of horses with an NZ after their name, don't you?
I didn't notice. I thought that was just I thought I was in the form guide. No. To be fair, like it would be great to backpedal pretty quickly. Paul, don't worry, I can do that. I know whenever the race is in another state, like I always watch it. It wouldn't matter. Same as the Grand Prix day at Addington the other day. I was tuned in there to see what was going on. But it would be nice for the Kiwis, and that comes back to another discussion, perhaps for another time, of having an Australia-New Zealand sort of committee to actually get a proper, well-versed, well-organised feature race schedule.
Wouldn't it be nice?
It would.
It'd be.
Add that to my wish list, Paul.
No, I've been, as I said, I've been in New Zealand, and we need each other. I don't care what anyone says. If we work together and we all had each other, harness racing wouldn't be struggling, because we've got such a great product. But it just seems I think we're more disjointed than what New South Wales and Victoria are in the thoroughbreds, and I think that's hard to think about. But we just seem to be pushing and pulling in all different directions, and we need to get on one page and work together.
Yeah, definitely. It's you can't just keep butting heads and have the proverbial measuring contest of something to see who's bigger or better. You know, like it needs to be better, and it needs to, you know, it all fall under a banner, whatever banner that is, but where everyone's on the same page, and you know, we can have a properly programmed calendar throughout the year.
Yep, no, definitely need to. Jeffrey Dixon's came in and he thinks the two brothers will fight it out. We might go there. We might go straight to that, to the final, if you like, the pacing final. Your thoughts, Darren, on this race? Once I get it up.
It's really made it interesting in that, you know, probably the way it sort of pans out. If Can't Find a Better Man doesn't get a start, will Leap to Fame's in 1 to 5, and you know, you've then got Jason Grimson runners drawn 1 to 3, Turn It Up in the middle, and it's a bit of talk that Narano will be able to hold Turn It Up out at the start. I don't think any horse can hold Turn It Up out at the start. I was going through the figures before. He's drawn front line at Albion Park on 33 occasions. He's led on 32 of those off the mobile. The only race he didn't lead off the mobile, he was drawn too wider than Cruz Bromac, and they kicked up on Cruz Bromac and held the front. They ended up dead heating that race in the end, Cruz Bromac and Turn It Up. So of the other times he's drawn the front line on 7 occasions over the 2600 Albion Park trip. He's led all 7 of those off the arm. So there's a few that he's tried to hold, but he's released on the majority of those, and you can see that happening again here.
Just say that stat again. 33 times he's drawn the front line, and he has led 32 of those.
Off the arm. He's handed up, obviously, quite a few of those, but actually first to the pegs, 32 out of 33 when drawn the front line at Albion Park.
That's outstanding. And it doesn't matter what trip, obviously.
No. And that's why I say at 2600, he's had 7 goes from a front line gate. He's led all 7 of those first to the fence. So,
and the only time he didn't, he dead eated. I reckon that's a cool start. That's what you're on here for, mate. The big bucks. That's what I'll pay you the big bucks for. That's a cool start.
So he's, and you know, there's a school of thought that, you know, being side by side, you know, having never driven in a race, I'm only going off my 1,000 wins from the grandstand that I can fall back on, but. Side by side, you know, he won't be able to get out as quick. Well, I doubt that. The first round heats over the mile, Mr. McLaren had a real good dip, and Pete actually grabbed up on Mr. McLaren purely out of the fact he knew he wasn't going to get there. So he had and he's a really quick horse out as well. So
what about the 2? Is that an issue, being down low? Like I most of the times I've seen him, but I think that's a lot of that is your preferential draw because he's a faster class horse. He seems to be out wide. Is the 2 an issue?
I don't think so.
No.
Those figures that I just said before about the 33 times. Let's have a look at those when he's drawn gate 2. Drawn gate 2, 3 of those 33 times. So
yep, that's enough. And he's led normal.
He led and won in the Christmas Cup of 2021 from gate 2. Obviously, it's a different kettle of fish this time. Like in terms of what the strength is around him, but in terms of getting to the front, I think he crosses Narano. And from there, I guess who gets across first? Swayze tries to keep his wheel in front of Future Assured, because Leap to Fame probably doesn't
get involved,
have it either. Yeah, well, that's where it's interesting, I guess, just how it all plays out in that early stage. I don't think they'd be too concerned with being 3 fence on the runner, and if I owned him or had him, I'd be more than happy. He won the heat last Saturday night over this distance from 3 fence. Traditionally, nearly every time the longer trip, the field opens up. You know, even historically, you go back to Ulestar, the last Albion Park into Dominion. He won it from 4 fence.
Yep. Swayze, he's been terrific. He was one of those horses when I was watching the race. I reckon Cam was counting off heads and he knew exactly where he was. And again, this is one of those races. There was nothing untoward. He drew one. He ended up, 3 and 4 back the fence through no fault of his own. He could never get off, but he was counting the heads, halfway up the straight and knew exactly where he was to make the horse qualify. He's been terrific. He's probably had the softer of a lot of the other horses sort of runs through purely because, he wasn't in a position for Cam to sort of send him to the well that last start.
Yeah, well, in that regard, in terms of sort of strong of how much they've been tested through the 3 rounds, 100%, Paul, he's probably had the easiest run. He got gifted the lead off Turn It Up in the mile heats.
Yep.
And then just rolled along. He was the slowest of the 4 mile. He was 52 and change. He was then 3 fence in the from inside the second line, round 2, and then 4 fence from gate 1 last week. So in terms of that, he hasn't had to have the strong runs that some of the others have had to. Whether that's a good thing or not, whether he's, the way Jason Grimson has his horses so hard and fit for long journeys, I don't know. Is that potentially at a disadvantage to him? Would he have been better with 3 hard runs? Who knows? But he's got 3 or 2 definitely 3 potentially easier runs, which he probably did need after the trip he had to get here.
Exactly what I was going to say, because he there was well spoken that he was no good after the New Zealand Trotting Cup. He didn't take part in a race that he did accept for, and then there was a bit of is he, isn't he? There was a week or 2 where he, I think the talk was he wasn't going. It just didn't become official, and then he has turned up, and I think he is the quiet achiever of the field. Alex Hurley's got another horse in a minute, but before we get to that, Leap to Fame, he can't do any more than what he's doing. I don't reckon Grant's cooked him in any of those runs either. Like to go back against what I'm saying with Swayze. I mean, Leap to Fame's been well looked after. He's been well managed right through the series. What's your take on the draw with those other horses underneath him? Is it good for him out there, or is it a tricky one?
Yeah, well, I'm not really sure. It all comes down to, I guess, how hard and who wants to get forward. Yeah, we've seen him in the Sunshine Sprint earlier in the year where he came off speed and he was really savage, and that was at a mile. So,
he came off. He came off speed in the Redcliffe race as well, didn't
he? Yeah. So, there's a bit more to him than being out in front, and I think perhaps, if anything, we saw that Swayze is a little bit the other way in that he does need to be up the front.
Rocking and rolling.
Yeah. So, whereas Narano, he's a bit off speed. So, I guess in that regard, Grant Dixon's got options. He doesn't have to force to the front. He doesn't have to force up and sit outside him. So it all just depends, I guess, how hard they go in the early stages. And then you got horses at the back like Better Eclipse, who's, he's just Mr. Versatility. He can, Greg Sugars has probably got the advantage there in that he can just drive what's in front of him. If they're going slow, well, he can rip around. If they're going hard, well, he can just be having a quiet little giggle saying, well, when do I get going?
Well, what's your thoughts on those 4 on the second line? And I'm not, future assured and I can't say that word. It always gets me, the number 7. But Classy Washington, Spirit of St. Louis, Speak the Truth, and then more importantly, Better Eclipse. I don't think they're bad draws, especially for each of those horses. I mean, Classy Washington's been terrific for Garrards. He's probably going to end up, 3 the fence, maybe at worst 4 the fence. Spirit of St. Louis has been great, although he's probably had his opportunity to win a couple, but hasn't been able to. Speak the Truth was terrific. And then, again, another horse I believe was looked after once knowing where they were at with the points. And then Better Eclipse has just been sensational. It's a really interesting race.
Yeah, and I can't argue with any of your comments on any of those, Paul. Like they're, like you say, Classy Washington's been super, and that's probably that's his draw to get the best possible check they can get because, that he'll just be sitting in behind. It's the Spirit of St. Louis. Definitely had his chance that heat where he went to go up the inside of our Money Rocks and he couldn't get there. I thought that was really his opportunity, and that run sort of left me thinking, well, he's just perhaps that level below them now, unfortunately. Certainly gets his opportunity here. Speak the truth. So Leap to Fame broke the 2,100 metre Albion Park track record at his last lead-up run to this carnival. Went 151.7. It was set at 152. Speak the Truth went 151.9 in his heat win. So he would have broke the track record if Leap to Fame hadn't broke it 2 weeks previous. So
and what
that was super.
And like as I said, I don't think Adam did anything wrong. I reckon Adam just knew exactly where he had to be last week and positioned him perfectly.
Yep. And initially at first thoughts, I thought, oh, geez, he should have fought on a little bit harder. But when I went back and had another look, like you say, they knew they were in. Plus, he was only beaten a length, 2.8 metres. So, that's not far. And then better eclipse. Like I said, he's Mr. Versatility. He's won 2 of the 3 heats. He beat Swayze last time out. Just was able to come with the right trip. Got sent forward at the 600 and was just too classy. And his sectionals out of that race were absolutely super. Better eclipse. So.
What's been your opinion of him, Darren, as a horse? Because we Victorians are very parochial, if you like. I know you saw him last year. But we've always said he's one of those horses that flies under the radar, if you like. What's your thoughts of seeing him and how he's been progressed and been managed through this series?
Yeah, well, he's been super. I agree with that comment too. In that, I've said a few times, he's that horse that probably doesn't get the recognition he deserves. In that, you go back and look at his record and. Where it is, like he's now over $900,000. He's won a Chariots of Fire. He's won a Sunshine Sprint here in Queensland. He's won, numerous other races down in Victoria. And here he is that's won 2 Inter-Dominion heats and beaten, not far behind Narano in the third, where he's only beaten, I think, about 1.5 metres. So, and then, like I said, sectionally last week, he's come home 53.7, 26.44 his last 8 and 400. You can't do much better than that. And wide off the track, he's covered only one horse under the sectional data. Only one horse covered more ground in the run over the last mile, which finished down the line. He ran it took him 1,626 metres running his last mile and run it in 152.25. Like, it's at the end of 2,600. Well, he's going to get a much stronger tempo in front this week. He sits back off a stronger tempo and gets into it at the right time. He's going to be a massive threat.
It's not going to be a walking race, I think, like a lot of people have said, especially early, it won't be, and then what happens mid-race. But I think there'll be a few drivers who'll be saying, once the speed's off, let's put ourselves into it and see what we can do, because there's too many horses going terrific, and I think that barrier draws myself have worked out pretty good for what's going to be a great race.
Yeah, it's made it a super contest now, and it's a good mix of what's on the front line and what's on the back line. So, like, not all the power's out on the back line, not all the power's on the front line. It really has worked out as if you were to hand pick an actual
barrier
draw to make it as good a contest as you could. Well, there wouldn't be much you'd do differently.
No, you probably put swap Canina Provlima, a name I hate, and Leap to Fame, maybe probably swap them two over and go from there. The other two horses, before we do get off it, and I'll ask you for your tips, but Pete Said So and Our Money Rocks, especially Pete Said So, geez, he's a consistent horse, a little bit like Spirit of St. Louis, just might be that half length off him, but geez, he's been great in this series.
Yeah, he has. Probably one that, and not taking anything away from him, has really benefited from the barrier draw. So first round he drew gate 7 over the mile, which is tough for any horse, and then he drew gate 1 the next 2 rounds. That said, he still had to put in the effort, and he was able to do that and finish second on both occasions. And this is a horse too, like, you talk about flying under the radar a little bit. He actually made Inter-Dominion final last year at Melton. So, he's in his second Inter-Dominion final. So you can't really undersell him too much.
No, and he made one of the big races over there, the March Carnival in New South Wales too. I can't think which race that was, but it was one of the bigger races. He was involved in that anyway as well. So, and spoken about highly too. So, which is really, really good. Who are you tipping the winner? Are you going to be loyal to Larry, or are you going to come up with someone else?
Yeah, no, I'm sticking with Leap to Fame. After all is said and done, I don't know where he gets to in the run. I don't know how it sort of pans out, but I think he's been super. That win last week, he was under double wraps. So you would see Grant Dixon's biceps bulging. He had that strong a hold on him, and when he come back in, the plugs were still in again. So that's a big effort. He was the fastest of the three heats at the 2600. And while times aren't everything, it was also the biggest winning margin
for the night.
Of the heats. He also did the exact same on the first round, the 2100, the mile heats. He was the fastest of the four heats that night, and also the biggest winning margin. So he's fit and well. He's obviously feeling well within himself on track. He loves to have a squeal before the race, and when he's come back for to be rugged on all three nights, he's still feeling pretty good with himself, and doesn't mind having a good kick out, that's for sure.
Keep everyone on their toes. I did notice in one picture there was only two people in it, and they were a fair way from him, so that obviously explains his move. Not saying he'll win, but Better Eclipse has handed himself through the series. Draw is awful. But there's a lot of action early. It might not be as bad as it seems. That's exactly right, Alex. And I don't think he's out of it. I don't think there's too many actually out of it. There's probably a few that have got a better chance simply because of the way the marbles have fell for them. But that's their good luck. I'm going to say hats off to Queensland, because although I think you are now known as a trotting state, the way that you've conducted the trotting series, I think, has been outstanding, Darren, to everyone in the team. The way that they've promoted them. They are not the second-class citizens now. They've been, sharing in the spotlight, and I think it's been awesome. And I hope it's been enjoyed by the locals up there as well as it has, a person like I that love the trotter.
Yeah, as far as I can tell, the locals are certainly happy. Well, we've ended up with 6 of the 12 runners are Queensland trained, which is more than we got through to the Pacers. It was 5 in the Pacers, 6 in the Trotters, and represented from 5 trainers. Jack Butler with 2 in the Trotters. So it's absolutely a great achievement, and looking forward to this race. As good as Just Believe probably is, and does look to be a times and margins scenario, stranger things have happened, and it's a race, and there'll be 11 other runners out there trying to do their best to make sure that perhaps they get their Stephen Bradbury moment.
And it can happen. Unfortunately, we've seen it happen before. It does look a lovely draw for him. He can let everything sort out underneath him and then stroll forward when he wants to, if that's what he wants to do. Chris Elford might have a crack at trying to cross him. I don't know how that'll work, but that could happen. Much as I love Just Believe, surely Queen Alida reigns supreme in Queensland. Very good, Alex Hurley. That's very clever of her, actually. I like that one. So, in Queensland. Yeah, but that's actually pretty good. Jack Butler's just playing for some place money. I think well done to you, Jack. You had 2 trotters in the series. They've both made the final. The big mare was terrific last start, I thought, Adele. I think what you say there about these Queensland horses is exactly right. These are not, like, you can say the Victorian horses are the favourites. Just Believe, Queen Alina, Olovici, Mufasa Metro and Plymouth Chubb. They're going to be the horses everyone's going to be talking about. The Queensland horses haven't been that far behind them. In fact, they've beaten some of them home. It's not like it's a group. I read a couple of spots where the trotters, are just so dominant and all the rest. They're dominant as far as their figure form, but they're not pulling their pants down and running away with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think we're only going to continue to get stronger here as a trotting state after this, and that good trotters are getting sent here, like Adele, that You know, the McGowans actually send that to Jack Butler and send it up here. And, you know, there's a few others there that sort of along the way. And, you know, now that they can see what it's like and, you know, that it is strong, it's only going to build. You know, even take Gus, for example. Like, he only started his racing career this season.
Yep.
Like, this is a massive achievement. He's had 13 or 14 starts, broke his maiden back in March, and here he is lining up.
15 starts he's had now for 5 wins, yeah.
Yeah. And here, and, you know, the other night when Chantel, you know, was sort of laying it down to Chris Alford, there would have been lots of people, and I know I was probably one of them, going, what on earth is going on here? But she continued on with it despite Chris, you know, no lead. Well, Chantel wasn't having that, and she found the front, and then he fought on. The way he fought on, like, but this is a horse that I sort of said at the start of the series, I really hope it's the making of him, in that he's shown ability, but had, you know, obviously got manners and a few other issues, but that's just probably immaturity. Like,
yep.
You see how long it takes a trotter to really furnish into the real deal. He's a 4-year-old after 15 starts, taking on the likes of Just Believe, who's been to the other side of the world and back.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you got horses like Majestic Lavros, I think has really done a great job. Figure form doesn't look that great. Hasn't been that far away in any of those races as well. And yeah, I think it's going to be awesome. I do reckon Chantel was the drive of the carnival. That race, I don't know if it was a drive of the carnival, because you'd probably have to give it to the winners, but I just loved it, if that makes sense. I sat there, and after a period of time, and I was watching it live, and I'm thinking, come on, keep going. And when he had the cheek to sort of stick his head back in, I was like, oh, seriously, not. Like, you can't do this. but you can. Like, I was happy for him to do it. No disrespect to Olivici or Queen Alida. I'd have been pretty pumped for Gus to have won, I must say.
Yeah, definitely. I was when he was still kicking, I was like, well, kick all the way now, mate. Come on.
He had the cheek. He had the cheek to take a bit of ground off her initially, like before Olivici had got to her. He sort of come back underneath, and I reckon Chris Alford had a look as if to say, will you just go away? Like, you know, I don't think it was a look of worry. It was just sort of like, are you seriously still coming? That was just one of those those ones. Plymouth Chubb, you guys wouldn't have seen him before. He's awesome, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely super. And another great story too, like, you know, Pete Manning coming up and campaigning again in Queensland, and been here right the way through, and now for Karen to be able to come up and drive him in the final. So that's its own story in itself. That first round heat when he won, I don't think I've seen a trotter really let go for 100 metres like he did. It
was almost like the horse in front of him galloped, and he just said, all right, I can win this now. Once Pete McMullen got out of his way, he just charged through. Yeah. And, you know, if that doesn't happen, well, where does he end up? He might not even run in the money, and, you know, he probably still makes the final. He's been runner-up the next 2 heats, but that really sort of gave him that insurance that, you know, and I think
pretty much through to the final.
I think it's where the trotters are, and I think, you know, again, before I ask you for tips here, the Great Square, I got the right hat on, actually, harassed trotters. This year, I kept saying about the 4-year-olds down here and how good they were, and unfortunately, you didn't get any of them up there, but the depth in the trotters in Australasia, and more importantly here in Australia at the minute, is outstanding. And for Queenslanders to be able to see some of these, because he can race for another 4, 5, 6 years, Plymouth Chubb, if he holds together. I know he's got issues, but you know, it's just so exciting to see horses like him. Gus is only a 5-year-old. You know, it's not just these horses how well they're performing now; it's what they're going to offer in years to come.
Yeah, 100%, and you know, it all strengthens them up.
Yep.
As to where they end up, and you know, I'm really looking forward to what transpires with them, especially here in Queensland. Of, you know, increasing the breed. You know, Trump Bloodstock, they're doing a good job of introducing you know, the stallions. Somerset Farms have got the stallions here now as well. So
Classic connection. He stands there with in conjunction with Harasta Trotters. So yeah, yep.
Yeah, so it's all shaping up as, it's just going to get bigger and stronger.
Yep, no, is indeed. And your free-for-all's a good field. Not all trotting horses in that. Sounds like you're getting in the car. You going somewhere, mate?
No. I'm just moving about. Legs were getting a bit weary. If Pogger was worried about me being a model. We've got to keep fit, Pogger models. We've got to keep moving about.
It's one of my issues. I'm putting on too much weight because I sit on my derriere too much. I must say. I'm actually going to do I'm going to do a Pat McPhee. I'm going to change the studio up next year. I decided I'm going to have it standing up because this sitting down is just no good for you at all. So yeah, we might change it up and we might get a bit of head banging. I might get the tank top out actually and start doing the show with the tank top on and see how that goes.
Hopefully your viewership doesn't drop, Paul.
It might considerably. So anyway, the rest of the card is a good solid card. The club and everyone involved would have to be happy with that.
Yeah, it's all worked out well, and we've got the earlier grand final, so hopefully that all works well, and it achieves what they think it will achieve. Last race being sort of 9 o'clock at night, then they've got the band, of course, playing afterwards. So an early finish, I guess, to a certain extent. The last race, probably not quite as strong as you would perhaps hope for an Inter-Dominion card, but, across the board, it should be a great night's racing. And, it's a really good night for Queensland. It's a really good night for harness racing in Australasia, and hopefully in time to come we're having these positive discussions about the Inter-Dominion, because I know it's my favourite race across the board. There's only probably 2 races that as an owner, that I would ever wish to win, and one of those is the Inter-Dominion. So and there's plenty of people like that, and we just need to give it the love that it deserves.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say that last race doesn't have to be there. Off what Cambridge did last year after their main feature races. So you've got one race after the trot, which still would be okay, the trotting free-for-all. Then put the band on and away it goes. It worked at Cambridge. I think there might be a reason they've got 10 races. I don't know. I'm not that smart on those things. What I saw at Cambridge was basically when the grins finished, the band rolled out, and no horse person was upset because they were back in the horse area enjoying themselves, and they had people everywhere, and it was really good. And I think that's something that we possibly could do. Alex Hurley, she's obviously excited, the facial expression that she's put on there. She's excited about me in the tank top. David Miles, on the other hand, he doesn't actually know what a tank top is, because he has actually written. I
find that hard to believe.
Don't show those lily white legs. He's obviously very confused as to what a tank top is. So,
well, unless you're going to be doing your standing up show doing handstands, I don't think we'll see your legs, will we?
No, you won't. And my handstand ability is minimal, so that won't be happening either. Alex Hurley, good to see Queensland has come to the party with Show Me the Grey in the fields. Go the Greys. Oh, what race is Show Me the Grey in? She has a fascination with the grey horses. It's a bit of a worry, I must say. So yeah, she.
He's race 9, number 9. He was the one that I was fishing around for some info the other week when you had I think you were on with Matt Markham and.
Oh yep.
I was fishing around for some info. So he had his first race last week. He was good first up and run third. Good chance again tomorrow in that race. Oh, sorry, Saturday in that race.
Don't do that to me. We're still a few days away, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
Right.
They're a bit of a blur. We've got tomorrow night. We have the Calcutta, so being held at the Riverview Hotel, which is just across the road from Albion Park. So the Calcutta's tomorrow night. So free entry for that one, $10 for a ticket into the Calcutta. So, and then the auction will get underway. I'm not sure what time that is exactly. I think it's a 5:30, 6 o'clock start, and then probably about 7:30 by the time the auction gets underway.
and everyone can work out their own timelines for that. I actually thought I was important, Darren. They gave me a ticket to that, so clearly if it's free entry, that's where they hold me at.
Was it a admit one or a non-admission?
Well, I'm going to check it when I get there. I've got to pick it up yet, so it'll be an interesting one. What else have they got planned for the rest of the week, mate?
That's pretty much it. The Calcutta was the last one. There was a trip today up to see Black's a Fake in retirement. So the young drivers were all on that trip as well. So they had the barrier draw and the day over at Moreton Island on Monday. We raced yesterday. Today was the trip up to see Black's a Fake, a bit of a trip around. Tomorrow night's the Calcutta. I don't believe there's anything on Friday. Racing at Redcliffe again on Friday just to make sure the surface is in tip-top condition for Saturday. And, Saturday with that early start.
Right, mate. Thank you. Thank you very much. As always, I'll be catching up with you too. Don't worry, we'll do a couple of interviews together. Very, very quickly. Junior drivers, great to see. It's a lot of fun, isn't it, to have them there and on show?
Yeah, it certainly is. And they got a trip across with the barrier draw function. They went across to Tangalooma. I know they did a tour of the island. For those of you people that sort of aren't aware, Moreton Island's a sand island, and so they got on the ATVs and did a bit of a tour around and had that function. And then they had I think yesterday they had a media training course that I think Brittany Graham was helping out with. They're going on the trip to Black's a Fake today. And, the racing Redcliffe, they get 2 days racing at Redcliffe, Thursday and Friday. So for a few of the drivers who have never been to Redcliffe, that might be a bit of an eye-opener.
The Kiwis have been to a three-sided track, but it's a bit different Addington to Redcliffe, that's for sure.
Yeah, it certainly will be. So, but the Kiwis, after day one, they've struck. They won 2 of the 3 heats. And I got around and had a chat to most of the drivers, and so it was good to catch up with them. I did an interview with Herbie and Emily Savalco, and had a chat with Zev Meredith and Corey Johnson. So Sarah O'Reilly, she won one of the heats with Peter Gregg.
She's the dark horse. A lot of people don't know Sarah, and I think she only just got beat last year, but she's won I think the New Zealand title, it's 4 of the last 5 or 5 of the last 6, something like that. She's got an incredible record in these drivers' championships, that's for sure.
Yeah, okay, well, keep an eye on that because she drove. She won the first heat yesterday.
Yep.
Really good drive, just bide her time, and then came to the outside at the perfect moment, and then she placed in one of the other heats as well. So, she's done really well to be right up there as it stands after the first day. So she gets to Redcliffe. Just looking at their drives, probably will even out a little bit over from what we've had. Angus Garrard's equal leader as well. He's got a couple of good drives on the Friday card.
No, he hasn't. Well, not on
he
one.
Hasn't.
Not on one. He's got $26 on one of them, and $17 on the other. You're putting the pressure on him, either that or you're going to tip us both those, are you?
You've made me a bit
nervous now.
Unshy here, Paul. I'm going to have to check this up.
Well, I'm just looking at the tote odds or the odds next to their names on the form, and Angus is on a $26 pop in the first Mr. Cole for Chris Watson, and Jack.
Yeah, Windy Hill Wally. That's going to be. That's a tricky one. Charlie's Ace actually went around tonight and won earlier tonight. It's strong gate 1, so Zev Meredith takes a drive there. Pretty good race, that one, actually, that race, Windy Hill Wally. Might have been the Thursday race. What's he got in the last on Friday? He's got captain's pick. Yeah, maybe I got the wrong day, Paul. Maybe it's Thursday. He's got the better ones. Heat 4. Delightful Rainbow, I thought Delightful Rainbow could win that one.
That looks a bit better.
Gosling and Flight might struggle, but then the last heat he's got, maybe I'm bum steering everyone here.
You've just been provoked. I can't never. There's another word.
Preoccupied.
No, parochial. You're sticking up for Queensland. You're sticking up for Queensland. I know it's not parochial. 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 Yes. You wouldn't think.
Maybe it was Leonard Kane I was thinking about. It's got the good book. Anyway,
I got no idea. But you're digging a hole and it's getting bigger, and I can do that for myself. I don't need your help either, so it's good. Scotty Purdon wants to know who won the golf.
I don't know. I didn't go to the golf day. That was last Monday. I know Paul Galvin, Aqua Constructions, one of the great sponsors here. He won the longest drive, and I know Greg Sugars won a prize, but he was trying to tell me it was only like a lucky door prize. But I said, don't tell everyone that. You actually talk up your ability.
John Justice fancies himself on those longest drives too, so he won't be happy with that. So
okay, so Johnny was down at the beach today with Mufasa Metro, giving him a hit out on the beach. There's a bit of footage up of that. Staying with Vic Frost and Gail Geeson, just the other side of the border, and they got access to a beach there just near Pottsville. So John and Ewa were out on Ever. I always get that wrong.
Never ever forget ever. It's so easy. Yep. And everyone questions it, but that's how Ever tells me to remember it. And
so
I can butcher any name, but I don't butcher Ever anymore. So yeah.
So they were down on the beach today, giving Mufasa Metro a bit of a freshen up on the sand. So good opportunity to get him out there. So
yeah. No. All right, mate. Thank you. I still have to ring the guys from Elmore Harness Racing Club. This show could be the longest show I've ever done, I reckon, but that's okay. It was going to be a show about nothing, and it still is. I just have to. I might have to wax the legs next week for D Miles. That's all I'll have to do. So I like how he picks on my legs. Have you ever been to Monagita, Darren?
I've never been there, no.
Just picture the coldest, darkest place you've ever seen, and then it gets worse at Monagita, mate. So yeah, so you can imagine what his legs look like.
Yeah, well, they wouldn't. If it's that cold, maybe he might need to. Although he come up in the winter, he enjoyed it up here.
He would have enjoyed it, but he wouldn't have had the legs out. Don't worry about that. And they're little sticks too. They're a poor excuse for legs as well. He doesn't have a lot of meat on the bone. And as Alex earlier said, it's windy too. So yeah, but it's all good. I'll know if he's watching. I'll get a message soon. I reckon he's tuned out, so it's okay, mate. Thank you very much, and look forward to catching up with you tomorrow afternoon sometime. I'll see you at the Calcutta at worst.
Okay, make sure if you haven't got that ticket, you can pay me and I'll let you in.
I seriously got an email. They said they've got a ticket for me to the Calcutta, and you've turned around and told me it's free entry. I'm not happy. Thanks, mate.
Okay, mate.
See ya. There's Darren Clayton. That's a true story too. I'll have to take Darren off. I've got to try and work something out. Oh, look at that. It does work. Right, I've got to make one more phone call because the Elmore Trotting Club have got their cup meeting coming up. I haven't dialed the number yet. Just bear with me for 1 second because I'm going to get Deb Hildebrandt on the phone. Hopefully. She was actually getting a haircut before, so I couldn't call her early on.
Hello.
Hello, Deb. How are you?
I'm good, Paul. How are you going?
Good, and I know you tuned in to see where I was up to, so you knew I was still talking, so I hadn't forgotten yet.
Okay, good.
Hey?
It's all good. We're all ready to go.
They're all ready. Yep, that is indeed. Firstly, Elmore Harness Racing Club race on the 21st, I'm going to say. It is, too, at Bendigo. Bit of a time shift, a change, I suppose. It used to always be Boxing Day when they were held at the Elmore Club, but it hasn't been held there for a few years.
No, you're right there. We can't have it at Elmore anymore, and we've had the last couple of meetings at Bendigo around about the same time and found it's been really a really good night with the kids and Santa, and everybody comes out. So we seem to feel at that time is a good time to slot our little cup in. And our sponsors, we have a really good lot of sponsors. We've got 8 sponsors for the night. They all come on board, and we've got a heap of activities for the night. So yeah, really looking forward to it. And we've been busy little beavers getting everything ready because we haven't got a big club, but the ones we have, we work hard to keep it going. So it's really good.
It is, and it is. It's funny how you say it really works. Like when I always remember that the Boxing Day, and Boxing Day always worked. The smell of the barbecue wafting across the track is one of those memories that I do have and love. I was glad I never was cooking the barbecue, because sometimes it'd be 36 degrees and she'd be in a little tent, and it wasn't
like a hot little oven in there, I can tell you.
it wasn't a pleasant job, and I did see you a couple of times doing that. But now, last year especially, it was a lot of fun last year. Like Santa comes, kids painting, things like that, like before we promote it too much, but it just is a really fun sort of night, and I reckon because it is so close to Christmas, people do drop their guard that little bit, would you say?
Yeah, and I think we also try and incorporate like Christmas parties as well. So we do get a few bookings for Christmas parties, which is a really good night. They come and book either on the lawn, they have their own little party, or they can book upstairs and bring their work colleagues and whatever and have a good night. And yeah, and also, as you said before, the barbecue. We still run our great traditional barbecue with the great Elmore steaks, where everybody comes and just says, oh my God, the Elmore barbecue is just the best. We need those Elmore steaks. So they're still famous.
And are the girls cooking it this year, or are you going to get someone else in?
No, we're still cooking it. So
Very
Jessica,
good.
Holly, and myself will still be the chefs, and yeah, slaving over a hot stove, as they say. But anyway, we look after everybody and make sure everybody's all fed, and I can guarantee people will come back more than once, because we always see them coming back 2 or 3 times, and they just can't get enough of the Elmore steaks and the burgers. So it's really good. I think we're known for our Elmore barbecue. That's what everybody comes for every year. So we can't drop that off. It's always got to be a tradition, I think, our Elmore barbecue.
I think one thing you do, I won't say you own Bendigo, but you do take it over. It changes, you change it a little bit, because basically up the horse end you'll have a couple of sponsors tents, you have your barbecue area, you do cater for, I suppose, the trainers and drivers. It's something you always pride yourselves on.
Yeah, we do. Like, it's not, we sort of look for more, I suppose we get more of the hobbyist sort of trainers that come on those days, and drivers that come out on that night to bring their horses out. So we try and sort of look after those guys. And, it's not so much just winning. We have our sponsors come on board, Barrowstock and SEPA. And I think last year, and the same thing this year, we had something like over 48 bags of feed that we were given a sponsorship to hand out to lucky draws of the race for each horse. So it wasn't just about winning or coming second or third. We were drawing horses out each race, and they were going home with bags of feed. They're all just wrapped to be taking something home. So that's just a really big thank you to Barrowstock and SEPA, because without our sponsors, as we know, our meeting does not go ahead. So we've been so lucky to all our sponsors to get on board, and this year we brought something different in. We're having a pop-up market. So we've had a great response from that. We've got over 15 stall holders that have put their hand up to come and set up their little tents and have a market. So the last few days before Christmas, someone come and buy your Christmas presents or whatever, and we just thought something different to make it for the patrons that come to watch the races, not so much just the trainers and drivers, but to get the
People
support from the crowd, the patrons and that to come in. We've brought on board this year this pop-up market, and we've had a wonderful response. So really looking forward to that. It's something different.
I haven't done any Christmas shopping, so that could be my get out of jail card. Sounds.
Wallet with you then.
Right. Before we go too far, I've got to do that. Your meeting, obviously the O'Sullivan's Transport. Now they've sponsored the Pacing Cup for a long time.
Many.
Yep, and been a part of it. $10,000 race, but it is a good card, and you cater for pretty much everyone on this card. And basically the reason I've got this up here, noms close on the Friday, but I want people to be aware there's also the Trotters Cups, Bendigo Bank, Elmore, Lockington and Rochester Trotters Cup. There's 2 trot races, but there's a race there just about for everyone. But the prize money is there. But the kicker is exactly what you said there before, Deb, when you talk about the prizes you can give away. Like last year, I think every person went home with a bag of feed from just about every race. I could be wrong, but it was amazing the amount of feed that was given out. Headsalls, leads, there'll be a couple of mystery gift bags, if you like, as well along the way. It's not just what you see there on the paper when you're looking at those noms. Those fields to do your noms.
No, you're exactly right. And also, we've got a rug for every race. Our sponsors, we supply a nice woolen dress rug with their sponsor's name on the rug, and that'll be presented to all the winners with the sponsors down there presenting. That's another thing we always put up as well, as not just the cup races. We have a rug for every race, so I think that's something that a lot of people really enjoy as well. And yeah, they get their trophy for the cup, the Trotters Cup and the Pacers Cup. We've got some beautiful looking cups we purchased for those, and they're on display at the Elmore Bank at the moment, the Bendigo Bank. They're on display all this week, so if anybody's walking past, jump in and have a look. They look fantastic, and yeah, we're really looking forward to a great night. It's just all come together really well. But this year also we're having the pony trots. We didn't have them last year, so they're coming on board this year. There'll be lots of ponies there, and the kids on course can come and meet and greet the ponies and their drivers. That's something we didn't have last year. Also, we've been lucky enough to have donations of a boys' bike and a girls' bike for lucky prizes on the night. So there will be a ticket in the race book that you can fill in and pop in a barrel. So there will be a draw for a girls' and a boys' bike on the night. Plus, we're also doing lucky patrons draws during the night. So there'll be quite a few of those prizes as well, which is the same thing. Fill out coupon and put in the barrel, and they'll be drawn out as well. So we've got heaps on offer, and yeah, it's going to be a big night. And there's been a lot of organising going into it from the committee and the secretary and the treasurer. They've done a fantastic job by co-workers, Jolene McSwain and Jenny Johnston. It's been really glad to have them on board this year, and it's really looking forward to it. And I think it just puts Elmore on the map, because everybody seems to talk about Elmore. They're a great meeting, and it used to always be a fantastic meeting at Elmore on our Boxing Day, but unfortunately that can't happen anymore. So we try and take it to Bendigo and still have that feeling and that atmosphere that's still run by the Elmore guys, and try and get as much as we can in our sponsorship and our prizes and raffles, and just really encourage people to come out for a great night.
And the Bendigo Club, they buy in terrific. I think tonight, actually, I saw one of the races. They promoted it. They said the Bendigo Elmore Pacing Cup is on next Thursday. Like, I think, that part, that makes it a lot easier to work with people, doesn't it?
Oh, they've been fantastic to work with. And yeah, last year they were so good, and they just want to say whatever you want, just use. And yeah, they're just fantastic to work alongside, and we never have any issues. That's why we keep going back there. Their grounds are always immaculate. Everything just comes up really well. Their lawns look good. The stables are all nice and clean. You can't sort of say a bad word about it. Everything is just spot on for the night, and that's why we keep going back there, and they really look after us and support us and help us with whatever we need. So yeah, it should be really good.
Plenty of trainers and drivers watching. Noms close Friday. Got to start being aware of when noms do close this time of year, but acceptances are Monday, fields are out Monday, so we want to make sure people are aware of it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Well done to all of the sponsors: O'Sullivan's, Nutrient Ag, Better Vet, the Elmore Charity Ball, Barrostock and Seeper Farm Supplies, AG Warehouse Rochester, Community Bank Elmore, Lockington and Rochester. That's a Bendigo Community Bank, and Evolve Accounting Solutions. Give them all a shout out. We'll give them all a shout out on the night as well, though, but we'll have plenty more fun still to come on that Thursday, the 21st of December.
Yeah, no, we certainly will. And don't forget the big fellow in the red suit will be there for all the kids.
And it's not me. I am putting on weight, but it's definitely not me.
No, it's not you. And yeah, kids will have a great time. There's lollies and icy poles and whatnot for all the kids on the night as well. So yeah, we really try and make it a family night and try and look after everybody, and hopefully everybody enjoys the night. Then they sort of get it out there, and they'll always come back and talk about the Elmore race meeting and the Elmore Cup. So yeah, looking forward to it.
No, very good, Deb. Thank you. Hopefully I spelt your name right. I hate trying to spell your name. I reckon I always do a bad job of it, so hopefully it's right. If not, it's close. It's close.
You should go and check it out by now. But anyway, everybody knows it, so it'll be fine. It doesn't matter.
I know, but it's got your name underneath me phone thing saying that you're on the phone with me. But anyway, I should have just called it. I know what I should have done. I should have just called it Deb. It would have been a lot easier. I wouldn't have got into trouble then. So yeah, because I reckon I've spelled it wrong, but I'll fix it.
Good.
I'll fix it up now. Thank you. Well done to the club. Well done to everyone. Jolene and Clinton and that organising a few things behind the scenes. They had races and stuff like that. So thank you for coming on too, Deb. Hopefully the hair looks good. Do we comment on the hair next week, or do we have to wait?
Come on. Who told you this?
What? You were getting your hair done?
I'm currently sitting in the chair at the hairdresser's getting my hair done. So there you go. So yeah, I hope the colour hasn't gone too bad, and I don't look like I've gone blonde. But anyway, you'll have to give me the comment Thursday night, eh?
Do you know why? Do you know why your hair's taken so long? Because Jess is writing comments. She wrote, "Ha ha, it's wrong." So I did spell it wrong. So that's why it's taken so long to get your hair cut.
Yeah. He's outside watering the garden and got me sitting in here. I better not be on damn well camera because everybody will laugh.
All right. Well, we'll just make sure when you're there on Thursday to comment on the hair and just and you'll get a free steak. So, Deb.
Yeah, no, come down and support us. We great. Oh, we also have the wheelbarrow, the hamper wheelbarrow full of groceries, which is always a great fundraiser. Everybody loves the wheelbarrow. They don't so much want the groceries; they just want the wheelbarrow. So, it's always a big goer too. So we always have the big wheelbarrow full of groceries for our raffle. So that'll be there on the night as well. So we'll be looking after everybody. So yeah, just come out there and everybody have a great night.
Deb, thank you. Thank you so much, Deb Hildebrandt, that is. And
thanks a lot, Paul.
And enjoy your haircut. What time does it finish? It's a late haircut.
Oh, well, I haven't had tea yet, so I better finish soon, hey?
Jess might cook your tea while you're sitting there.
Yeah, well, she might if I'm lucky, hey?
Yeah. The joys of having a daughter as a hairdresser would have
exactly.
But it'd have its downsides because then you have to get put on the back burner all the time, I would imagine too. So, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Especially this time of year, it's pretty busy. But anyway, it's all good. So we look forward to having a chat to you Thursday night and catching up and, really, really pushing it out there for our sponsors and all our race goers and look forward to sending everybody out there. Come and see me. I'll look after you.
We'll have a lot of fun. I might even walk the microphone underneath your mouth while you're cooking, but that'll be fine. Yeah. Thanks, Deb.
All right. Thanks a lot, Paul.
That is Deb Hildebrandt from the Elmore Harness Racing Club. I do apologise for the way I spelt her name. I knew it was wrong when I did it. She could have a surname like her daughter, Jess Harney. It's very simple, but of course Jess has been married. That is a wrap of the night. There was a few races I did want to try and highlight coming up for the week, but it's been a pretty big week. If you are still watching tomorrow night, go Friday night, the Woodland Stud Queen of Hearts is on a Ripon Mares race. They're going to have a few of these coming up, but the terrific Mares race with Manhattan drawing coming out at 2 now. Artie's Express was awesome last week, winning Zach Butcher and the Telfers. Life's a Beach was an eye-catching fourth. Dance Till Dawn, Penny Black, My Surfer Girl. Lady of the Night led up and only just got run down by Artie's Express on that occasion. Probably doesn't get the chance to. I do Aloo for Nikki Chilcott is a really progressive 3-year-old filly, so a really high class race, $110,000 Woodland Stud Queen of Hearts for the mares and fillies. It's on the North Island, so another of the Group 1 events coming up from New Zealand as well. So big weekend of racing. I will be back. I'm going to be in Queensland as of tomorrow, so there'll be a lot of Queensland content, thankfully, coming for you from my friends. Better make sure I pack a hat in a Nutrient, getting me up there to do that. Make sure you pre-register to get involved in the Nutrient sales that are coming up very, very shortly. Tasmania on the 26th of January right through to the 14th of April, so get in touch with those. And then also the Nutrient Standardbreds, the NZB Standardbreds 18th through to the 21st of February as well. Thanks to everyone who's joined in. Thank you to all the people that have come online. Been some terrific interviews. Thank you very much, Scotty Purden. I will only be for a couple of days, but it'll be good to get up there and see some of these good horses and catch up with some of the people. But thank you to everyone who contributes, and as always, have fun. We'll be back next week talking harness. Not 100% sure on my schedule just yet, so I'm not going to commit to too many of those shows. They will all be on next week. Just the timeline might be a little bit tricky as to when they do come on. But thank you for everyone that's joined in, and we'll see you all next week, next Wednesday night for On Loose Lines.